Eric, I got a math equation for you, okay?
Oh, I'm really good at math.
Are you ready? Okay, so 20, there's two of us. So what's 20 divided by 2?
That's 10.
20, 10, two of us. Welcome to the GOTYcast for 2010.
That really wasn't as funny as I thought it was going to be,
It was
but
less of a joke and more of a nice little segue. We are pro school learning.
There was a different word I thought you were going to go with for a second there.
But Eric, were we learning in high school or were we still playing some pretty great games?
I'd say we were still playing some pretty good games.
We are still in the golden age, everybody.
We still got a few
You
more
still
years.
you still have to deal with us being annoying for a little bit longer. When I go through the list, I was thinking about this the other day, and when I was thinking about some of the games that came out this year,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say it. This is maybe me just saying, like, maybe I need to sit down and have a proper look. I think this may have been the best year. That's my opinion.
Really?
When it came, and obviously when I go through the list, I don't
Boobs.
know why I touched Batman. I
You
touched,
said grabbing my boobs.
I don't know what it was. I think, we talk about how every year for probably, 2004, 2005 started kind of creeping in. But once like 2006, 2007 started, we got every kind of game, like the big ambitious titles. We got just great games. We got great story games. This year, I think is less of a, like, we got so many different kinds of games and whatnot. I just think this year, like, some of these companies we love, I think a lot of their peaks were this year. I think a lot of their like top notch, and we'll get into it because obviously there's some certain games I'll bring up that you'll probably go, okay, I can see where you're going with it. But I will say my runner up is none of that. It is easily, like, when you talk about certain genres of games, this game is the reason why I like these kind of games. Puzzle games,
Yeah,
third
this
person
genre.
puzzle games, third person atmospheric puzzle games. That's right, everybody. The game that, joking aside, genuinely changed the game, even though it's just a puzzle game, but just what it did is revolutionary. That is fucking Limbo.
Yeah.
Limbo is, again, Limbo, it's not revolutionary because the game itself is like so crazy and complicated. It's just, there really weren't games like that. Like, and I think it brought a lot of people into like that kind of platformer who knew it just for Mario. And like, I get it. We have like more 3D platformers like Psychonauts and whatnot that maybe are more adults that, like, older people can get into. Refined, my game of the year. But I think Limbo really just started a wave. Like, anytime a game like this comes out, like, I'm just playing Planet of Lana, just finished, it's great. What's the first thing I hear? It's like Limbo. Oh, I'm gonna play it. If you say Limbo or
What a, what
Inside,
a, what a
yeah.
fucking simp, am I right?
I mean, hey, I can't be a simp for Playdead because they've only put out 2 games and literally all of them left. And it's like Somerville was part of Playdead, and I know Cocoon that's coming out is part of Playdead design. Anyways,
Yeah, I laughed because I thought you were gonna be like, it's fucking Peggle, and I was like, Peggle didn't come out this year.
I was gonna say, hey, Peggle's revolutionary though. Peggle's great. But no, Limbo is fantastic. It's one of those games where I think if you talk to me about like some of my games that are like very important to me, Limbo is definitely one of those. But okay, so time for Heat. We got Heat in the tank. We're just gonna go through them because, again, what's
Robert De
up?
Niro.
No, it's now Al Pacino. Oh, I got baby now too. Red Dead Redemption, top of Rockstar in my opinion. Call
No,
of
no
Duty
gay cowboy. About to say,
Yeah,
man.
Sam Elliott and cowboys aren't supposed to be gay. Call of Duty Black Ops. Really, the
Wow.
last time I cared about Call of Duty. Modern Warfare 3, but this was the one that I actually gave a shit about. There's Maylene. BioShock 2. underrated.
Rated.
Halo Reach, top of Bungie. Like, this game did not need to be that great. God of War 3, Heavy Rain, Super Mario Galaxy 2, Fallout New Vegas, StarCraft 2, The Return of StarCraft, Super fucking Meat Boy, Alan Wake, Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, Battlefield Bad Company 2, Metro 2033, Dead Rising 2. Like,
Getting loud, folks.
yeah, I get loud when I get excited. Just Cause 2, which
So
is a
many
great game.
twos.
So many twos. Fable 3, which we joked about Fable 2, but Fable 3 is probably the one that's more like, ooh, okay. My game of the year, I did not say. And it's a obviously, it's a studio that we have only talked about once, twice, because one of your runner-ups was this studio. I don't think
Now,
the
we
first game
talked
of this
twice
series.
because 2 runner-ups. One was your runner-up, one was my runner-up.
When was a runner-up?
Remember when you decided, fuck it, I'm switching it up? Are you having
2003.
different?
What was my runner-up from 2000? Oh, it's been so long since 2003, ladies and gentlemen.
It's been 7 years.
It has been.
Or it's been 3 months, 4 months.
Yeah, logistically. I'm just gonna get into it. Mass Effect 2. So,
hey, that's the runner-up of mine. But
oh, is it? Okay, so then that is your runner-up. So then we will have a long conversation about Mass Effect 2. See, now I get to do this. I get to drag you in to talk about how much you love it. But okay, so you
we
brought up
talked about it for 3 times then.
what? Because Dragon Age, Star Wars.
In Mass Effect 1.
The reason why I think this game is so fantastic, and I was thinking about it really hard, like, what, like, being a kid, remember playing that first one and being like, okay, like, this second one is easily, in at least recent memory, now again, this is like a whole, I just am thinking of this, it was one of the most bold single player games I think I played in my childhood because of how it opens, the way it shifts the story to Cerberus, the whole elusive man plot. I remember being a kid going, what the fuck is happening? Like,
Martin.
it was one of the most unique things I've ever played. Like, it was just so, like, I've never played something that was this, like, the fact that the first game was the first game, and this bold of a direction with the combat, the RPG, kind of them being like, we're going to make it more of an action game, and being like, here's this fucking crazy story where you die. Spoiler, you die. You fucking get cooked, my dude, in the first 10 minutes. Like,
literally, they just said, you just defeated a Reaper like about 2 months ago. You're dead now.
Get fucked. And then just the way that the story has to build after that is just so complex. Again, we're like entering high school. So at this point, like, this game comes out and it's like, who do I trust? Like, what's going on here? The fact that all of your progress from the first game comes in is like a huge thing where, like, you're kind of like, oh my gosh, like all my choices carry over. And I think out of all of them, there is something to be said about, like, which of the three is a better game, better story, better this, better that. I have my most fond memories of this game. I played this one the most. This is my favorite video game of the trilogy. That's a meme.
Video game of the trilogy.
Of this on the Citadel. It has just the most. It's to me, this game felt like the first game came out, it was the kind of game that it was, and then this one came out and it was like, hey, you're OG, come on in. You're not an OG, we'll start you, we'll get you in here. And I feel like if a new player played this, they'd be perfect. Like, I feel like you would fit right in by the way that it brings you into this world. And
right. It's very accommodating to newer players. It's also like you get more out of it by playing the first one.
The combat, like, I personally like it more, but it's because obviously I haven't played like the redone ones like you have. I feel like the first one definitely was one of those like, yeah, I don't know if it was too ambitious or if they felt like because the combat definitely feels like what BioWare was making, but it felt like they didn't have an idea of like where to go. Like obviously it wasn't turn-based like fucking Knights of the Old Republic, but it was like it felt kind of like what you would expect, and it felt a little loose, and it didn't seem like it flowed that well. I think too, what's so great is they really like locked in like the cover system and the gameplay and the gunplay, and the way that it's like it still is deep. You get all these weapon choices. I think that, you know, you still have the option to have two characters with you, which, by the way, I think is the best cast out of any of them. Besides, like, bar, like, because Garrus is in the second one, correct?
Garrus is in all three.
Yeah, because
He's
Garrus is a
him
fucking OG.
and Tali are the only
Yes.
two that are companions in all
Because
three
what's
games.
her name comes back from the first one in 3. Ashley or what's his name?
Aiden.
Caden. And then, who's the blue girl? Liara, right?
They are to Sony. Don't disrespect.
But Thane was one of the coolest characters for me. Like I was like, this guy's fucking cool. I love the way that he looked.
That's the first look at the Drells at all.
Yeah, like the way, Eric, the way, it is the way. This is the way. The way that they opened all of these new characters and these creatures, and like it just felt like such a huge upgrade from the first game. And the first game only just came out like 2.5 years before this. Like it's wild to me. Jack, I'm reading through the list right now. Jack, we got Grunt, we got Zaid, which was the DLC, which he was so underrated. We got Jacob, Morden, Samara, Legion. Ugh. And then we were talking about, and then other characters. Yeah. Geth on your squad. You literally get to see Rex again. You get to have those interactions. You emotionally get like, you're like, oh my God, it's Rex when you see him, because you're like, I played a game with him. He's my buddy.
Like Shepard.
Yeah, like that voice is so iconic. You're like, oh, that's my best friend. The graphics I thought were fantastic. Again, like I get it, like those older BioWare games, it's the kind of Fallout and Elder Scrolls syndrome of like, hey, how's it going? You could just sit there not pressing anything. Oh, that's a good thing. Like I get it, it's stoic, but it's fine, because that's not the point. Like the point is not, these games are immersive, but they're not like that immersive. They're building your own choices. They're taking your own path. The way that you have to earn like everyone living at the end of the game, I thought was fascinating. First time, I think Zaid died. I picked the wrong thing and Zaid died. I was like, fuck, the old mercenary died. He was my DLC character, damn it.
Yeah. Also, do we talk about the fact that this was like the first time we experienced a game on 2 disc? Really?
Oh yeah. That was kind of the transition at that point.
That's when, yeah, the games were getting harder to push on the 360. The PS3 was fine because of the Blu-ray technology.
Yeah.
But the Xbox 360 was like, so because of that, things were very directed to what you could do on each disc. Because on the disc one, you could only do Omega and like the first half of the missions. And the second disc, it was Ilium, and then the second half of the recruitment missions. And you know, getting up and having to switch disc was never a fun thing to do, but it is what it is. Found out also too that initially you were supposed to just be able to do whatever you want, recruit anyone at any time that you wanted, so more things would have happened. And that's why I feel that some of the characters get streamlined towards the end, especially like Legion, because you're like, oh right, he's so cool, he's a Geth, but then he's just like, oh, we don't have enough time.
Yeah. No, it feels like just like a record. Like you get up, have to change the record. It's one of those things. I felt like it was good. Like it definitely did it at a time where you didn't feel like, Jesus, this is when I have to change the disc. Like it felt fluid, and the way that it kind of sections everything off, I think is great. And like you said, you can do the main missions, you do your recruiting, but then you get your loyalty missions. You have to do your loyalty missions for them to live and for them to get like special powers and do this and this and this.
You make sure you go out of your way to get your ship parts upgraded and go
Yes.
planets. Oh boy, probing.
Oh yeah, you don't have to drive that vehicle anymore. That was a whole big thing. The mini game was fun though. It was fun.
Damn, getting probed. What's that like?
I don't ask me. I don't have that fucking experience with that shit. No, I'm so happy to have finally gotten to this game because we brought up BioWare so much, and when I was thinking about this year in particular, when I looked, like honestly, Limbo was hard for me to even put as a runner-up because literally Red Dead Redemption is almost fighting it. Alan Wake is almost fighting it. There were so many games this year that gave me so many great experiences, single player experiences. And like, again, we were playing all these and we had all this time and it was fucking crazy. And like, for me to get through Mass Effect 2 multiple times, and again, just all of the set pieces and the way that the story unravels. And again, like the voice cast. This is when video games, like we were getting this like A-list like voice cast to hear Martin Sheen talking to you. It was your way to tell your parents that like, hey, this video game has these famous people. So they're like, oh, it's not some weird, like whatever.
Stuck in it.
Exactly. Erik.
Yes, Brian.
So, well, we already know what your runner-up is. It's mine. You stole it from me after I've stolen from you. You steal from me. So, what's your game of the year,
I have
buddy?
a second runner.
Oh, you have a second runner-up?
Yeah.
What is it?
We brought him up a couple times. He's a good boy. His name's Alan Wake.
Fucking basic bitch. I knew it.
He's one of if not the best narratives in video games. It's fucking crazy. It's spooky. It's fun. The gameplay pretty good. That's why it's not the best game of the year, because the gameplay could, get improved on, and that's what we hope Alan Wake 2 does. October 17th, 2023. See you
Where's
there.
the physical game?
Where's the physical, Remedy? We think we don't want to raise the price. Fuck you. Where's the physical?
Okay.
Where's the limited collector's edition?
I have the collector's edition for the first game, so
yeah. No, my game of the year is in a series we've talked about previously.
Indeed.
I think it's more of a it's like a spin-off, but like not, because
a spiritual successor would be the fancy way, I feel like.
probably correct. Because it's basically being developed by people that made the original games, but couldn't number it because the big company behind the games now said, no, that's our job. You just get to work on it on the side. But it doesn't matter now because they're all owned by Microsoft anyway.
Exactly.
That's right. We're talking about Fallout New Vegas. All right. We talked about Fallout 3 not too long ago, for reasons, no particular reasons. We just said we Fallout 3 for, one or another. But this is the game I prefer more so than Fallout the 3s. Where Fallout 3 was more, driven by more plot, and then there was like more interesting choices in there and things like that. Fallout New Vegas literally says and takes place in its own Wild West and says, do whatever the fuck you want. There's a plot here. You don't have to follow it. Just, walk around and see what happens because there's shit to do. The locales of using the Las Vegas Strip Very interesting choice. I I love that whole strip area. I love that literally they said, after the war, we're gonna just turn it into we're gonna turn it into this little area where everyone can hunker down, and we're still gonna gamble and things like that. We definitely get in talks with about the different politics from the different areas. So, the NCR, the Legion, and then of course the inside government in the strip known as Mr. House. Oh boy, he's a big computer boy. He's gonna get you if you're not careful. But it's okay if you know what he really looks like. You don't need to worry about him. I just felt like really any quest that you could have done, you could have decided how it ended in your own right. There were so many options, more so than I felt that there was in Fallout 3. Even story missions where like you could do it a number of ways. And that option of choice definitely helped out. I'll say this for sure: the combat is pretty much the same as it was in Fallout 3, and this came out 2 years later. So pretty much the gunplay is pretty much the same. That still works the same. The repair mechanics work the same. But I mean, the combat was never the strongest thing about this run of Bethesda's Fallout. You were there for the atmosphere and the enjoyment, and definitely just walking around and exploring really gave that feeling. Definitely the creatures, there was a variety of crazy creatures. Of course, you got your death claws, you got your Mirelurks, the worst fucking things ever invented. My god, I hate those fuckers. um and your exploration of like super mutants and what they become. They brought back the one super mutant from Fallout 2, I believe, and he makes a reoccurrence because he's a good guy and he has like a hotel set up. Ooh, there was the one mission where you go to this cult and you're like, oh, we need to, our god, he's in the center, and it's this tree, and his name's fucking Harold, and he's just like, I just want to die. Please help me.
Wait a minute. They had a tree thing in New Vegas because that was in Fallout 3.
Was it 3 or was it New Vegas? I can't remember. Oh no, he is in Fallout 3. I don't know why I thought he was in New Vegas. I just got completely sidetracked from that. But yeah, it is in Fallout. What was the name of the super mutant then in Fallout New Vegas? Marcus, that was his name. Marcus. Oh, but also your one companion. I'll talk about him in a second then. Not Strong. That's Fallout 4. Silly Google.
Yes.
But the companions you got in this game were also really cool too. Fallout 3, like you had some companions. You're like, oh, okay, I guess you can follow me around. But everyone knows the fucking sniper and the T-Rex Boone, baby, with his red beret being like, you better not be working for those Legion folks. And you're like, no way, Jose. And then you just immediately start working. He's like, stop it. And you're like, okay, I will. Then you don't, because you're like, I want to be an asshole this playthrough. Or you get your super mutant friend who you can put in silly dresses and outfits because he's got BPD. And then there's the one scientist dude that you can recruit, and he's got all the chemical weapons and stuff, and then or energy weapons, excuse me. And then you go to fucking town and you see people become piles of goo, and you're like, ooh. Ooh, there's the one robot that you can have sex with in this game. I thought that was funny. There's a lot of robot fucking in this game. There's a lot of fucking in general in this game because you're in New Vegas. What else are you supposed to do?
What happens in New Vegas stays in New Vegas.
We also have to talk about one of the best characters of all time, Brian. Let's be real. Yes, man. Come on. Yes, man.
So I'll interject right here. Where's the camera? There's the camera. I don't like Fallout New Vegas. I have bought it since, and I plan on playing it again because now that I'm older, maybe I'll have a new appreciation. But I did not like what this game did. I felt like it definitely did not. It felt like it was treading a lot and it was trying to be different. And there was a lot of elements that just did not gravitate towards me. And
But
I
come
am
on, bro.
gonna.
This is in the same year that Mass Effect happens, where you die at the beginning of the game. Guess what? The same case happens here. Our favorite games from this year, we both get murdered at the beginning of the game.
It's true.
But at
One
least
game.
I don't get murdered in an explosion in space. I get shot in the head by Chandler Bings.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say one of them is really cool and epic, and then the other one's Fallout New Vegas. So
He's got some folks.
I'm spicy. But no, in all seriousness, I went into this game loving the third one and being like, okay, like let's see what this is. And I didn't even care that it wasn't Bethesda, but it just there was a lot about it that just didn't gravitate towards me. And then once I started hearing how the opening DLCs were like not that great, I was like, okay. And then I just got bored and sold it. But I have bought it since.
I haven't played the DLCs yet. I do own them, but I just haven't played them. I've heard mixed things about them, of course. There's the one where you're in the jail camp, which I hear is great because you lose all your crap and they install a bomb on you and three other people, and like you have to keep all of you guys alive, otherwise you all die. I find that very interesting for sure. I mean, I'll say this. Again, these games I don't go to for the distinguishable combat. I go to it for the stupid fun that I can have, just like experimenting. And I felt like I got more of that from New Vegas than from Fallout 3. Fallout 3, again, I think is a great game. It's settled foundations for what New Vegas became because it just kind of took what Fallout 3 had and then said, let's just let the player really do whatever the fuck they want. And then I think Bethesda said, we're going to take that and then we're going to make Skyrim. Not really, but in a sense, I don't know. They probably took some cues from that sense of, okay, let's really let the player just do whatever they want. And then they said, we're going to strip that away and
we can make camps.
I do like again that you don't start in a vault. I like that you're just a part of the world already. You know, it's not like you just were buried up and you had to do something for someone else. No, you just were trying to deliver a package. That's it. But also, this is in the era randomly of being a courier was like the cool thing, I guess. I don't know. Infamous, you're a courier. This game, you're a courier. There's that one Joseph Gordon-Levitt movie where he's a bike courier.
Oh yeah, Premium Rush.
Premium Rush, yeah.
Where Michael Shannon's trying to kill him.
I saw it, but yeah.
Me neither.
I thoroughly enjoy my time with Fallout New Vegas, and I can just it's one of those games I can just play for a couple hours and just do things, and I feel like I've made no progress and I've made a ton of progress at the same time. Because again, we're not there for the fucking stupid Hoover Dam plot. Who controls the Hoover Dam? You know who does? The Great Depression. Thank you very much. And you know what? I have a Great Depression. Thank you very much. So I guess I control the Hoover Dam. Got him. Oh, 2010. We are
RPG-PALOOZA.
This year was RPG-PALOOZA. Oh, wait, I forgot about the perks too. The perks were fucking great too. I felt like in Fallout 3 there was there was good things, but I felt like whenever I went back for playthroughs, I stuck with the same ones that I wanted to do. Whereas in New Vegas, I'm like, okay, let's try this one, and then this one, and then this one, because there was just more options to choose from because they were just all goofy and silly. They were.
This year
But
was
anyway,
just goofy and silly. We talked
2000,
about math, RPGs, the works.
yeah, 2010. We're officially in a new decade.
That too. So,
Great.
in this new decade, what games did you like? Or was it any of the ones I said? Was it something completely random?
Hey, not the whole entire decade, because we'll go through it.
Oh yeah, we're not gonna. We'll get
We're
there.
not.
And then I was gonna say 5 years from now, not literally, but in whatever 2015, I'll be like, so 2010, what was my runner up again? Because I'm old, so it's been a while since 2003's video.
Yeah. Will that be relevant to that time? Who knows? Ooh.
Well, until then, toodaloo. Oh wait, like, comment, subscribe. Toodaloo.
Hulu.